We would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Bob Palmer, Vice President, Solutions and Innovation at SAP NS2.
Thank you. The challenge that many agencies and departments have shared with us at NS2 is that they're faced with a chaotic environment that's the result of over 40 years of collecting information and building data processing systems. There's logistics data, personnel data, planning data, intelligence data, and recently, there's been an explosion of data from publicly available information and from cyber network data. Over the years, the systems supporting the mission have evolved so that data is now scattered across multiple applications, data warehouses, systems of record, and data marts. And more recently, in data lakes. And for the most part, those systems do a good job supporting the specific functions for which they were built. But now, our clients tell us that they need to converge data from these separate systems with a wider cross-domain view to support intelligence, processing and exploitation, command and control, planning and logistics, data science, and of course, operations to execute the mission. They have to converge data between systems in order to gain new insights and to be more responsive to emerging threats. They have to break open stovepipes for a more complete common operating picture, for better intelligence production, and for ops intel fusion to better disrupt and outmaneuver. They must enter the era of awareness and become what SAP calls an intelligent enterprise. The vision is to create a unified data layer or a data fabric that converges information from all these different types of systems so you can fully exploit the data in your landscape and combine it together in new ways to support decision-making with a more holistic view. Ultimately, the vision of the intelligent enterprise is to increase visibility of all of your data and break open the silos for a complete picture, not by creating yet another data store, but by connecting existing processing systems. Let me repeat that. The goal of the intelligent enterprise is not to create and move all your data into some sort of new super data warehouse. Instead, the vision is to let you more fully leverage the investments that have already been made in data processing systems. The vision is to automate data discovery and data integration so your smart people can spend more time on cognition and less time on data wrangling. To bring machine learning and artificial intelligence to bear, to help recognize unseen patterns and simulate potential outcomes, and even to power algorithmic warfare, as Mr. Work said earlier. And I don't know if you've noticed, but all the best presenters are named Bob. Is that a trend today? We have to do a regression analysis on that. The vision of the intelligent enterprise is to use converged information to help you direct resources and plan for operations today and tomorrow. And, very importantly, to do all these things in a way that's manageable and secure. The intelligent enterprise concept can be implemented either on-premise or in the cloud. Our software is already in the C2S environment, and we offer the NS2 Cloud, which provides managed services for SAP software solutions. It leverages the hyperscale technology from our partners at Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and VirtuStream. It integrates them directly into our SAP reference architecture. The NS2 Cloud makes it easy for you to adopt innovation and do next-generation solutions and safeguard your critical information from FISMA moderate all the way up to IL6. We've had recent adoptions from Transcom, DLA, Navy, Army ASIP, and the aerospace and defense area with Magellan, as well as 1.4 million users live in human capital management and learning management in the NS2 Cloud. In fact, at 1:30 today, after the summit, our cloud folks will be out in the hall, and they have a breakout session after the summit called Journey to the Cloud, if you'd like to get more details on that. Now, I'm going to share with you how a few of our SAP's over 300,000 commercial clients are moving into this age of awareness by becoming intelligent enterprises. Alongside that, we're going to talk about how those commercial examples can apply to the mission of national security and defending the homeland. To give you an eyewitness view of how NS2 is supporting the mission with software innovation, let me introduce now our Chief Technology Officer, Kyle Rice. He's the head of our NS2 Innovation Center, which we call NS2 Labs. Kyle?
Good morning, Bob.
Kyle, what are the capabilities that we can offer to our federal systems integrator partners and to our government clients through NS2 Labs?
All right, thanks, Bob. So hopefully, as you noticed when you came in and saw the most excellent arch outside, we describe NS2 Labs as having 3 eyes. The first eye is for innovation. SAP at the corporate level has some real eye-watering capabilities that we can provide to our commercial customers. But many times it's just a logistical challenge to show those capabilities to our national security customers. So what NS2 Labs provides is a place to see those capabilities, to touch those capabilities, and to leverage those capabilities within the mission space. So the second eye here is for incubation. So what we have is we have the ability to bring in partners, bring in our system integrator partners, pull them into labs, give them time to work with us, time to mature into capabilities that are relevant to the mission. And then the third eye is for investment. NS2 has an investment arm that we use to invest in promising technology companies.
Okay, let's now take a look at a commercial example that can be brought to bear on the mission with the help of NS2 Labs. Stara is a large manufacturer of farm equipment founded in 1949. In recent years, they began including sensors on their machinery to execute what they call precision farming. The idea is that you shouldn't apply expensive seeds and fertilizer uniformly to the field. Instead, it's carefully mapped, and the smart technology applies the products at variable rates depending on moisture, organic matter, nitrogen levels. Artificial intelligence is used to automatically change the application rates based on conditions. This is all supported with in-memory computing in the SAP HANA platform.
Thanks, Bob. So let me key off of that connected tractor example to show how we're applying IoT to the mission space in NS2 Labs. So if you recall from the commercial perspective that Bob just talked about, IoT is all about putting sensors everywhere and then using that data in kind of new and innovative ways. But if you think about it, in the national security space, the sensors everywhere concept is an area that we certainly have knocked. The DoD has sensors, way more sensors than they know what to do with. We have sensors coming in, we have volume, we have all kinds of different capabilities coming online. The challenge in DoD tends to be on the sense-making side of that. The collection is less of a challenge than what do you do with it once you get it. So we're at the point where the current DoD tools generally don't have the ability to process all the data that's coming in. So what are we doing in NS2 Labs? Essentially what we're doing is taking these mission-specific sensors, applying some commercial sensors as well, but then most importantly, rolling that through a commercial IoT capability to see what comes out the far end. And we're finding some pretty extraordinary things by taking that approach. I'm going to gloss over a lot of the details in this particular venue, but if you come out and see us at the showcase out back, we can get you more information about some of the innovations you can find that are relevant to the mission space.
Thanks, Kyle. Now, here's a second example of the intelligent enterprise in action. Northern Gas Networks provides energy to homes and businesses throughout the north of England. They use SAP technology called the Digital Boardroom to build what they call their digital operations room. It allows decision makers to see events that have occurred in all the different regions that they service. This way, they can orient and decide on what field resources are needed and what activities are already in progress to address the problem. They use context-sensitive information to provide what they call 3D reporting. What's happened in the past, what's happening now, and what's going to happen in the future.
Thanks, Bob. So that digital operations room concept that you're talking about, there's some pretty obvious parallels to the mission space there. We call them different things. We'll call it a common operational picture. We'll call it a readiness dashboard. We'll call it a targeting application. But much of the concept is the same. You're trying to get that real-time situational awareness to a decision maker at the point that they need it. So specifically, what are we doing in labs with this? If you recall from the previous example, we've got sensors everywhere, plenty of sensors, and they're all providing data. So what we need is a data layer to make sense of that capability. And here again, we're going to use the same commercial technology that was used in Bob's examples, SAP's HANA data analysis platform. It's the same technology we use there, as well as in over 30,000 commercial customers, taking advantage of the 4 in-memory analysis engines here: graph, spatial, text, and machine learning. Same technology. We're just going to configure it differently. And what you find is that you can get all kinds of useful threat information by applying that commercial capability. So when you use that approach of focusing on the data layer, there really isn't any limit to the things that you can do in pretty short order. Here's an example we did about space situational awareness. You can see it actually at back. It took less than 8 weeks start to finish. One we did around cyber situational awareness with a partner. What they were doing here was pulling in publicly available information and combining it with more traditional cyber data. And here's an example of a Fusion application that a partner built for a government POC. They demoed it 6 weeks after they got their funding from the government. It just doesn't take that long to turn these things around. So you can see many of these out back, but the key point for all of them is that the data layer is doing the heavy lifting. And what that means for you as a system integrator is that you don't have to waste your time focusing on the data. You can apply your domain expertise on top of that in the areas where you bring that expertise to make those compelling mission applications.
My last commercial example is in the area of image recognition and machine learning. SAP calls this innovation brand impact analytics software. As you can see, it's image recognition used in the commercial world that they use to gain accurate insights about their brand image. It processes video in real time, faster than the broadcasting frame rate, to get one step ahead and enable decision making. It analyzes image exposure with duration and size automatically in real time. And then users can either browse media files or search for specific events by specific properties.
All right, so you can see our commercial customers are leveraging this. You heard from the other Bob this morning that within the mission space, AI and machine learning are big concepts as well. So what we were doing is we were doing a 2-part approach. Similar to my previous examples, we're applying commercial machine learning technology to the DoD space. You can advance, Bob. Oh. It's very important that we take a commercial approach to doing this. The key is here, our commercial customers apply AI into their commercial workflows. It's not that you're doing this separately and not that you're doing this in a separate area. That integration is really the key because you know your mission and what you're trying to accomplish. You use AI as a tool to do that mission significantly better. So, for example, here's what I mean. Recall that previous data analysis workflow? What we were doing there is pulling in those tools and applying that into the existing data workflow. That worked, so let's build on that. Want to advance it? Here's an example from NS2. So, Brian, can you back up a couple slides? There you go. So here's an example from NS2 Labs to show you the value of this. What we've done here, it's a fairly simple machine learning extraction problem. We're doing classification. What you'll find there is in an operational sense, the ability to get your classification levels in terms of determining what you found In a fielded pass, in terms of operational conditions, you may be lucky to get 75% accuracy on that. And that's okay, and that's getting better. But the problem is, when you do that at scale, you can get significant compounding of errors. And so what we do here is we treat that as part of the larger integration process. What you do is you take an existing data workflow and apply that 75% correlation with data that is much more accurate in terms of location. What we're showing here is a combination of low accuracy from a classifications perspective, but high accuracy from a location perspective, and convolving that with data that is highly accurate from a what have you discovered perspective, but is quite inaccurate from a location perspective. Combine those two pieces together, run it through an existing correlation engine, and what you can find is very high value from that fairly low fidelity machine learning data. So this sort of fusion is at the heart of what we're doing in NS2 Labs. And you probably take that commercial approach to AI capabilities. And what we're doing here is we're applying that to the national security space. So to summarize the approach we're using, the approach is to focus on the data analysis layer. Whether you're in the Army, the eBay, whether you're with the VA, whether you're with Walmart, if you do things from an intelligent data layer perspective, you can very rapidly deliver real mission value to your customers.
So now let me challenge you all to think how the hard problems that you face in your particular area can be addressed by bringing together the team of NS2 with its software innovation, federal systems integrator partners, and government leadership to produce breakthrough benefits for the mission. And please do stop by our NS2 Innovation Showcase in the hall outside to see how we can help. Thank you very much for your attention today.